Welcome to Live Unashamed, where we pause the show and invite members of our team to talk vulnerably about their own recovery, things they're learning, the resources that are actually working, and what it truly means to live unashamed. What up, James?
How you doing, man?
We've pulled in a good friend of ours for some Live Unashamed episodes.
I know. I'm so
Pulled him
excited.
in for a three-peat.
I know. I'm excited to have you here, man.
How's it going, guys?
So, tell us a little bit about you.
Sam.
My name's Sam.
Hi, Sam.
And I'm a son of God. I like basketball. I like hanging. I think the thing that I'm most passionate about is hearing people's stories. So funny that I end up on a podcast like this, but I'm just a dude. I'm pretty regular. What do you want to know about me?
Well, today what I want to know is your view on sobriety versus recovery. So before recording this, we're sitting here with Jaron over there, and he's like, yeah, Live Unashamed, we're doing sobriety versus recovery. And we're like, we've done that.
We already talked about that one.
We've already talked about it. So we're literally here flipping through the show, like flipping through the
Past
episodes.
episodes.
And we're like bewildered by the fact that we have never done this.
We apologize. We just want to apologize up front that
And
we
make
didn't get to
repair.
this sooner.
And make repair by having Sam drop some knowledge on us.
Yep.
So, shocker, a topic that I have strong feelings about. No! But let's just get some definitions out of the way. So, Sam, definition for you of sobriety.
Steve, is there a topic you don't have strong feelings about? Before we go there, just...
Country music.
You don't have strong feelings about that.
Soccer. I have several people in my life that are trying to get me to be into soccer as opposed to, because I'm a big college football guy.
Sure.
And I'm like, football's just better. Like, there's so many more exciting moments in
Sure.
soccer. And
So-
everyone's like, no, but soccer's so much better.
Right.
You being one of those freakers.
Right.
You, my buddy
so
Nate.
wait. So you don't have a strong opinion about this? Got him.
Soccer's limp
So
for
Sam,
me.
let's just talk about...
I don't get it.
Let's just leave Steve out.
Your definition of sobriety. Sam, go.
My definition of sobriety is abstaining from undesirable behaviors,
Great.
which is very different from recovery, in my opinion.
Why? Definition of recovery.
Definition of recovery is synonymous with healing. So you can absolutely abstain from bad behavior without healing. That just causes, a lot of times it's fueled by shame, right? Shame's really good at controlling behavior, but if you don't heal long term, it just, that behavior starts to pop up in other ways, or it comes back. It's like whack-a-mole. You just, doesn't ever change.
In starting your journey, James, do you feel like it was more about sobriety or recovery?
Starting my journey was all about sobriety. I was like, I got to get sober. That was like the driving thing of like, I've got to get sober. This is the problem. If I can solve this problem, then all of a sudden my world will be fixed or whatever, right? So I just thought, if this issue didn't come up anymore and I could just be sober.
Same for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, shoot, kid. The perfectionism that
Yeah.
resides in me.
I know you got to tell the story about how you tried to hustle it.
Oh yeah, the perfect in recovery. I remember I showed up to my therapy session with Jolene Green. Shout out to Jolene, does equine therapy and stuff. And I was like, I finally done it. And I had an Excel sheet of all my dailies, and I was keeping the score. So which dailies in which category and percentages. I probably have it somewhere.
That's awesome.
I need to post
That
it
is
to
so
our blog
awesome.
post or social media at some point. I'm sure I still have it saved somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can track my percentages. And I had a church leader that was like, right on, this is awesome. So he's just with me drinking the stuff. So I took my perfectionism of I have to be perfect in life, and I'm not doing that. So then I got into recovery, and I'm like, you just be perfect in recovery, which there's no better indicator than sobriety, right? But here I'm asking you, Sam, true or false, when you have been, what's the longest you've been sober?
6 months, but I think that was before really the addiction had set in at all for me. Probably about 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Were you happiest, most fulfilled, feeling the best about your recovery,
Oh, no.
matching the sobriety?
No, absolutely not.
You were
And it was,
feeling-
like I said, it was just popping up in other ways. I was in a really, really codependent relationship that was making it much easier not to act out through porn. But, I mean, you can get the same validation in other ways. So,
meaning relationship, meaning girlfriend.
yeah. Well,
Okay,
situationship.
so
we were trying to
as the
figure it out.
kids say, as
Yeah.
the young kids say now.
Yeah, she
Situationship.
liked the attention I was giving her.
Yes,
Great.
and
I
you liked
liked
the
that she needed
validation
me.
you were
Yeah,
getting.
yeah, it was
back.
good. It was good.
It was some good codependency.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
it was grade A
Codependency.
codependency.
Great.
Sam,
You have a great high.
Sam can tell you about the feels of
Yeah.
codependency. Good ride.
It's a good drug.
Yeah, I will say though, like when I finally realized I got to the end of that 3 months, and it actually was right after I broke things off with that girl that I just launched a deep dive back into acting out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't figure this out till about a year later, but I was talking to my mom, and I realized as we were talking that was what happened. I had just tried to stop the behavior, and there was no, at that point I just hadn't dug deep enough. There was not very much recovery happening.
Well, and this is the thing we laugh about on the show, that I'll get married, and if I'm in a conservative Christian background, if I'm not having sex before marriage, I'll get married, and then now that I'm having sex, it'll all get better. We all laugh on the show, and people's like, I can't believe I thought that. And we all, laugh about that and whatever. But also I think about back when I was sitting with that guy at boot camp I told you about, who had a year of sobriety and was like, I thought I would arrive, like everything would be
Yeah.
better, and it wasn't. So he had this huge fallback and then acted out. So then it was like, shoot, and now I've lost it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the question I want to bring up is, I think there's a bunch of, like, yes, you can actually be sober and not act out anymore. And the truth is, about anyone who has ever recovered, the word we preach on this podcast, is everyone actually just stops.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth about everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So we can pull Chris Bennett in here and be like, Chris, name the date, right? Or we can pull in, whoever it is, go to a 12-step meeting and they'll say, yep, August 5th of 1995. And there is a day that everyone here just stops, right? Correct? I'm
Yeah,
smoking
I think
dope,
so.
or that's
Yeah,
the thing.
Yep, happens.
Okay, so what about, I'm a recovered person, but I'm still acting it like they're connected, they're not connected, because we're sharing two stories. You're sharing your story, Sam,
I think they're for sure
of
connected.
having the thing. I'm sharing the story of this other guy right? And sobriety, so I'm, 5 years in change of sobriety of acting out with any other women, close to a year of sobriety this spring of porn and masturbation, complete year of sobriety, right? And so whatever the change is, that's the part I don't get. Here's the question I want to have is like, I'm not getting the correlation, because I feel like out front, everyone's like, it's 100% about sobriety. And then people are like, but now I'm woke in recovery and it's not really it's really about healing. But then I'm like, if you're really healing, how are you not getting sober?
So I have a ton of thoughts about this. I think I heard a quote once that's been really helpful to me, that God takes the slums out of men, and then men take themselves out of the slums.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we feel like it's up to us, because if we would take ourselves out of the slums, then God would heal us, and really it's the other way around, right? And the big idea behind, I would say it this way. I would say recovery is God taking the slums out of us.
Right.
Sobriety is us taking ourselves out of the slums. So there's like the healing that has to happen for long-term success and achievement in whatever behavior you're trying to change. And then there's the actual putting that into action. I think that recovery usually starts before sobriety, at least in a long-term view, if people are actually improving.
Well, I think there's some people that white knuckle real hard up front,
Yeah,
and then realize, hey, this isn't the full deal.
Yeah.
And then they lean into the recovery. So I'm going to bring this to your wisdom, Sam. Drop some knowledge on us as we hit to live unashamed. Chris is I've been sober for 17 years, doing the whole thing. So Chris is always the one I point to when people don't get recovered. I'm like, cool, here's my friend Chris Bennett. Good luck explaining that, right? That people don't recover. But then I want to point to the man sitting next to me and myself, who I would argue, have a lot of recovered in us and a lot of recovery. I am a completely different man. You're a completely different man. Your marriage is very different. My marriage is very different. I'm still, I think, going through a lot of things in my marriage that are not things you're going through. That's not a better, worse, or I'm saying different. But I think there's some challenges for Kayla and I still in a recovery standpoint of forgiveness, resentment, some things that we're working through. I think you and Christy are healed on those things. Not naming you and Christy is perfect or anything, but believe that. So help me understand. We both clearly care. Why aren't we sober? And does it matter? Which is, I know, a very dark question to ask. Because to fill in some gaps, I just never quite get there. Got there with acting out with other women a long time ago.
Yeah.
Even got there with, if you look at in the last 5 years of my life, the relapses I had or whatever are 5 minutes of porn, softcore porn. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying my behavior has, from a sobriety perspective, has significantly changed from porn every day hiring prostitutes. So like significant sobriety has happened in my life. So I'm not minimizing that I haven't done stuff, and I'm not minimizing where I'm at now, and that I don't think I should be completely sober like Chris. I think I should, and that is my goal. I'd say the same for you.
Yeah.
But you have had 2 years of complete sobriety, and then random's the wrong word, but have
Right.
random timed relapses
Yeah.
6 months or 9 months apart where you look at porn for 10 minutes
If that sometimes, right.
and don't even masturbate,
Right.
which is so backwards to me because I would choose the masturbation first and the porn second. Just
Sure.
people are different. So don't be offended, anyone. It's just different. So explain, because this is a real question I have about myself.
That's a good question. What's your trajectory? That's what I would say. It's as simple as that. And I think you're continuing to recover. As you continue to recover, those relapses become less and less. And eventually, I think everybody gets to a point where they can pick a day. And then maybe not pick a day,
So
but
why hasn't
a day
James
comes.
picked a day? James,
don't know.
in some ways, I think is healthier than me. So that's why I'm pointing to James. Like, what is it that James is missing?
You know, I think there's just more healing that has to happen before. So here's a thing that I heard not that long ago from one of my buddies. He said, sometimes we think that once our behavior changes, God will love us more. But actually, once we realize how much God loves us, our behavior changes. There's some healing. There's some level of becoming more in tune with God's love that has to happen before we get to the next level. And so that process continues over the course of days and months and years. And I use that that's helped me to get rid of a lot of the shame that I've had, because I suddenly realized it's not about just white knuckling. It's like,
Sure.
Where am I at? I'm so different than I was 5 years ago, and I'm still relapsing, but I'm just trying to get to the next level. And there's some more getting in tune that needs to happen.
But other side of that coin, has it gotten you more sober?
No, not yet.
So I'm gonna point
Answer
it back.
your own question. Well, I want you to answer the
your
question for you.
No, I want you to answer, because you've already told me what you think your answer is for me.
Yeah, come
Right,
on.
so you answer for you,
So-
then we'll answer for me. I'm not dodging me. I'm saying, so we don't lose everyone.
Yeah.
Sam's opinion of you, now your opinion of you.
My opinion of me as to why would this pop up for 5 minutes once a year, 9 months at this point after
Yes.
all the work?
Because it's not random. It happens when you're stressed. We can pull out the addiction cycle.
Right.
So it's not random. Yeah.
At this point, and I don't mean this in a shaming way, it's because I let my guard down at times when I know better, of like I recognize the moments that are going to be triggering for me, and I choose not to actually live a recovery lifestyle. And I'm just like, oh, that was dumb. I know better. I was like, and I just chose not to do it.
So is that passivity? Is that arrogance? Is that, what do you put to that?
Not positive. It might be both. Might be passivity or arrogance or apathy. Because to me, it just might be like, it's just not a big freaking deal if that happens once a year for 5 minutes. So,
Which I don't disagree that is, I'm not like, dude,
so
James,
maybe it's just apathy. I don't know.
you're in a
For
giant,
sure, I don't know.
You're in giant denial. What's your problem?
Yeah. and I'm feeding you now up into your choice.
Yeah.
Like it's
So
all set
what's
up
your
now.
judgment of me? Of me. So now me, that's you.
Right.
You know, my thought is exactly what you're
Right.
saying, because
I just
you don't have
haven't-
enough motivation to get accountable and make sure you don't do it. Whatever you need to do for, you know enough about recovery that if I said, James, $10 million, or I have all your kids hanging off a cliff and you're not sober for 3 years, they all die, I guarantee you would just be sober.
Yeah. So
Because you'd be like, oh, I guess I better do some of that recovery stuff, and then you do the thing. Right?
yeah.
So your
So to your point,
evaluation of me,
your
I'm
evaluation
not going to
of
let
me
myself off the hook. I just gave it to you.
is that right? You're
Right.
just like, you just need to choose, James.
100%. So your evaluation of me,
Why you're not there?
yes. As you would describe me as someone who's absolutely in recovery and having change.
Right.
Okay. So with that, what's with the sobriety?
With the sobriety for you,
Yes.
I think it's still an emotional mismanagement issue.
Use third grade words.
I think there will be times where you will let your resentment or entitlement get the better of you.
Well said. I think I have some things around that. Take a shot at me, Sam. Drop some knowledge. We've hung out at Warrior Heart. You've gotten to know me.
Sometimes when you reach a point where things are manageable, there's not enough motivation to completely kick a problem out of your life. You may have reached that point.
So he's kind of seeing me the way I see
The
you
way
a
you
little
see
bit.
me,
I
yeah.
see you.
Things are
Yeah.
manageable.
So for
I'm
me,
okay.
one of the things, and this is a whole nother episode we could get into, is, so I won't do it here, but here's one of the things that I think I don't name that I have a problem with, which I think is the resentment and the entitlement. I think I'm pissed still on some levels
Yes.
about how judgmental and mean people were to me in my recovery process, from some family members, from some church leaders, Kayla, because I feel like I got labeled a lot because of the prostitution and stuff as like the guy that's narcissistic, gaslighting, everyone, mean, super gaslighting, which was never true of me. So I feel like I got like put in like on death row with all these crazy felons, and I'm like, I kind of feel like Les Mis, Jean Valjean, like stole the loaf of bread. I don't know why you're treating me like these people. So I think I have some shame around sobriety. And so I think there is a teenage self in me that's like, F this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to go do prostitution. I'm not going to go do
Right.
stuff to like actually mess up my life and make it unmanageable. But that's why I think I get to that out of the, because I've done it like 5 times where I'm like, I'm totally out of the woods, but like there's a self-sabotage there. And I think it's because I'm holding on to some stuff there.
So I like what you said.
I agree.
I like what you said because I feel like it fits right into that. Hey, there's just some more healing that has to happen. There's something inside of you that's turning you back towards it, even now. And and you've done some really good recovery. I would say it's the same thing applies.
Out of the mouth of babes, not that you're like some infant, right? But I'm saying like it's just
25,
it's just
Steve.
truth, right? It's just truth, but from a triple
he makes
generation.
you
No,
look
this
old, Steve.
vulnerable for me to say it out loud. Vulnerable for me to say it out loud, but I think that's true for me. So I think we always have an invitation, right, in our Live Unashamed. So my question is, believing in the difference between sobriety and recovery, here's my real question for everyone. Get honest. Tell me the truth as to why you're still acting out. Because there is a reason.
Yeah.
And that's what I would tell everyone to ponder. Send me an email. I want to know.
I want to know too.
I think we've been honest about ours. Let us know what that is for you. Because there's a reason. Because the truth is, with recovery and healing, it becomes a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know why you're struggling to make that choice.
Yeah, copy both of us.
Because James
Steve
and I
at-
are. So I'd love to
James
talk to you
at-
about it. So until we can connect again, follow us on social media at Unashamed and Unafraid. Become an outsider. Help us with this movement. Love to have you on the show if you have a story and expert resources you want us to know about. And until we can connect again, continue to be unashamed.